Now we want to enter this data into SPSS, the software SPSS, statistical package for the social sciences. We want to enter this software into SPSS. How do we do that? Let's see. I'm going to launch my SPSS right now. So this is my SPSS app. As you can see, it has it's blue in color. It has a summation sign, alpha, and a division sign. That's the SPSS logo, IBM SPSS logo. So this version I have is IBM SPSS Statistics 23. There are new versions these days. There are about I think 25 or 26 if I'm not mistaken. That should be like the latest version. So this version they're usually updated from time to time, okay? Maybe there's just something new that they have added into the software, but it doesn't change the calculation, okay? It doesn't change the formula that is already in the software. It doesn't change anything. So I still have SPSS 23 here, and that's what we're going to use for this practice. So I'm launching the SPSS, okay? So you can see it's launching, and then it's going to come up real soon. As you can see, it's loading. It's coming up. IBM SPSS version 23. Okay, so this was last updated in 2015. So there are new updates. I think 25 should be the latest. So this is loading. This is loading. Okay, great. So it loads the SPSS for me. Normally, when your SPSS is launched for the first time, you'll see a pop-up like this. Okay, so this is just to take you around if you need to know some more things. But for beginners, just say cancel, and you are left with this view, okay, the data view and the variable view. So remember that we have our demo data here in Excel. So the next thing you'd want to do is to transfer this to SPSS. Recall that I also said that you can type in, you can code or you can enter data at once in SPSS. You can enter data at once in SPSS. So I'm just going to minimize this somehow so you can see how to do that yourself without necessarily walking through Excel. But the need of or the use of working through Excel is if you already have your data in Excel form, especially if you did an online survey and then the responses have been given to you in Excel format. You need to convert them to codes. So if I'm gonna do this myself, so here's what I can do. I can just say, maybe I should take you through the SPSS environment first before we do that. So the SPSS has three environments. I think we have that here in the notes. Before we talk about data cleaning, let's just take an overview of SPSS. There is the view window in SPSS provide access to the entire data set. What we mean is this. This is the view window, okay? And then there are two views, the data view and the variable view. We'll explain how this is used in SPSS. There's a data view, there's a variable view, and then there's a data view provides access to the entered data. This view, precisely, this view, it shows you the data that has been entered. So what you have here on Excel, like this, is going to also appear here in SPSS. And then next, the variable view provides a back-end view to the entered data for manipulation and labeling. What do we mean? This is a variable view. You just click here and it takes you to a back end. It is at this back end that you define the data. You're the one to say one stands for male, two stands for female, this stands for this. So we'll show you hands-on how to do this as well. This is where you do the cooking, the ingredients itself. This is where you have your ingredient. Let's say this is like some kind of cooking you want to do. You have a shelf where you keep your ingredients. You know where your salt is. You know where your cooking seasoning cube is. You know where your every other ingredients are. This is it. So this is where you have your ingredients, okay? And then you also have your recipe here. You can say one stands for this. You can say, okay, I'm gonna put 2 spoons of salt. This is just where you have it, the ingredients, okay? And then here is where you then decide what you are putting into the food, how you're measuring the ingredients, how you're selecting them, how many spoons of salt did you put, how many. So it's at this view. Then the third view is called the output view. You see the output view as we proceed, or the result view. This view provides the result of any completed analysis. So first things first, let us do this let's convert what we have in Excel to SPSS. So this is how to do this if you want to work with SPSS manually. If you want to input the data yourself in SPSS without necessarily going through Excel and then transferring to SPSS, this is what you do. Remember that you're going to work with which view. Let me just set this out clearly. Remember that you want to work with the variable view. It's the variable view that you define your data. So we have the first, we have your first data here called sex. I think I prefer to use the word gender. Yeah, so we have it gender. That's the name of the data. What type of data is gender? So since you're working with numeric data all through, sometimes you may just want to leave it as numeric data, unless of course if you have something like let's say location, urban or rural, and then you say state your location, and then you just leave it like an open-ended answer, okay, where you just tell them state the location and then they type their location for you. You can then change this. There are different types of variable. There's a numeric, comma, dot, scientific notation, dates, dollar, custom currency, string, and restricted. So if you have it as maybe an open-ended option that you did not assign any number to, so let's say maybe different cities, you didn't assign number to them, you can just have it as string data. Once you have it as string data, the decimal will automatically go 0 because string data are like text. But since we're going to code this as a numeric data, we have assigned numbers to them. We're going to leave it as numeric data. So normally here would automatically be 2 decimal places. But let's ask ourselves, what are we going to code the gender like? Male 1, female 2, right? So we didn't say male is 1.1. So that means decimal does not apply. So if decimals apply, then you can use your decimals. The label means what are we naming this as? So we can still name that as gender. Gender is gender, right? Fine. Now pay attention to this. This part called values, this is where you assign the number. This is where you do your coding. So what is the value? 1, the first is 1. 1 was for what? 1 was for male. So in label, we say male and we add. 2 was for female. We say female and we do what? Add. And we say, okay. So you have the missing column, you have the missing column, okay? So this is if you're going for a higher level of analysis. Okay, you need to know what discrete missing values are and all that. But for now, for basics, you shouldn't really concern yourself with this column, this column. This column is just to let you know whether you want your data column looking large like this, or whether you want it looking smaller like this. So it's the width of your column. That is the width of this part. So it can we can the decide whether this can be bigger or smaller, depends on what you want. So let's say if I let's just do an example. So can you see I expanded that and it went to 10. So let's say if I have this as 20, see what's gonna happen here. Can you see this is increased? So if I have this as, say, I think automatically is 8, look at what happens. It reduces. So yeah, so it's really nothing to concern yourself about. Yeah, so for gender, at this point, you need to understand the different measures for numeric data. This is very important. Yeah. So let's look at gender, for example. So there are three types of measures. There are three types of data measures when you're talking about measurement in data. There's the nominal data or nominal measure, there's ordinal, and there's scale. Nominal, so you can see how they are ordered like this. Scale is usually the highest form of measure. Ordinal followed by ordinal, and then the last is nominal. Nominal is just simply for identification purposes. So for example, we just want from this survey, we just want to know who is male and who is female. No one is necessarily superior to the other. It's just for identification. So that's why you have this as three small circles of different colors. So the circles are the same, none is bigger than the other. They are just for identification, okay? So nominal data. Gender is usually nominal. It's an input data. So you just want to concern yourself with that. So let's take the second. The second is what? Location. So we say location. I can just say LOC if I want. So here you can give abbreviations to your data. Location, I still coded it numerically. So I'll leave that as numeric. And here I reduce it since I didn't code it as 1 point something or 2 point something. So, and here I can write it in full, location. So what's my value? 1 is for what? Urban, and I add that. And 2 is for rural, and I add that. So let's say if I mistakenly added something else here and I said Ruban, if there's nothing like that, and just added, and I want to delete this, and I know this is wrong, all I need to do is click on this and I say remove. That's all. Or if I want to replace this rural, let's say I mistakenly said it's Roman. Okay, let's say it was Roman before, and I want to replace this. I can just come here and change it, and I say change, and it will return to status quo, and I say okay. So that's it. Rural, urban is anywhere superior. It all depends on you too, but I will use that as nominal data as well. And then we come to the third part, which is age. We come to the third part, which is age. So for age is age. And then here I say 1 was assigned to what? Less than 18 years. 2 was assigned to 18 to 25 years. 3 was assigned to what? More than 25 years. And I say okay. Now notice something interesting here. So we all have these. Remember I said don't concern yourself with all this. Let's come to the measure. Now this is age. Is age a nominal data? Well, in as much as you want to use it to identify who is of a particular age group, fine. It also has some level of superiority. So someone who is aged 18 to 25 is obviously higher or more older than someone who is 18 years or below. Someone who is more than 25 years is obviously older than someone who is what? Who falls between the age range of 18 to 25. So there's some level of ranking here. There's some level of ranking. Now, let's look at this. Which of these give us the idea of ranking? Nominal simply means identification. That is, they can be different, but they are all the same. There's no ranking. This aspect tells us, yeah, they are different as well, but there is some level of ranking. It's like a step. So this is higher than this is higher than, it gives us some ranking. So here, age falls under ordinal scale. The ordinal scale has the identification feature and ranking. Okay, and then we come to the program type. Come to program, and we coded it numerically too. So it's a program. And then you can say values 1 is for undergrad, and then 2 is for postgrad, and you say okay. Is this going to be ordinal or nominal as well? A postgrad is obviously higher than an undergrad, so it's ordinal. So let's come to the Likert scale themselves, this section of the questionnaire, where we have the questionnaire items themselves, like the question we want to ask on motivation. So the first question here, SPSS, the name column part of SPSS does not give you the permission to add space. So here's what I mean. If I want to say question and I do space and I say 1, look at what it says. It says variable name contains an illegal character. So you're not supposed to put space here. That's why my best option is just to have them coded as say Q1. So I know that question 1 is Q1, question 2, Q2. So I have that as Q1, and I can come here, say it's still numeric, okay? You can decide to change the decimal here if you want. That's fine, you can still change it here. So what is Q1? I'm supposed to give it a meaning or a label. I can just copy this and say, that is it, okay? The Q1 stands for the question that reads, I feel excited to resume school. That's all. Or I can decide to reduce the statement and just say excitement, or feeling of excitement, something like that. Feelings of excitement. It all depends on you and how you want to measure that scale. Here we have 4, 3, 2, 1, remember? So what are the options? 4 stood for what? 4 was for completely true. And then 3 was for what? True. And then 2 was for not true. And 1 was for completely not true. And I say, okay, so I've defined the options as well. Now, these are perceptions, or these are ranking, or these are ratings, right? So in as much as some rating has been awarded, has been accorded a higher value, say 4, 3, 2, 1, it doesn't still mean that the person who says completely not true is inferior to someone who says completely true. It's just that we are rating this on some scale of positivity. Like if the person is more positive about feeling excited, then we give it a higher rating than someone who feels less positive about being excited to resume school. So, but it doesn't mean that the person who says he's not excited is inferior to someone who says he's excited. So that's why you have it like a ruler. That's what scale does. So scale combines all the elements of the ordinal, the nominal, while it still give everyone an equal rating. It's like your ruler. In your ruler, you have let's say it's the centimeter aspect of your ruler. Can you see that the space between 1 centimeter and 2 centimeter is the same space between 2 centimeter and 3 centimeter? But something that is 3 centimeter is said to be higher than something that is 1 centimeter. Okay, but the space between each of them are the same. So similarly, the scales, why one can be said to be higher than the other, it doesn't mean that each of the any scale is actually inferior to the other. It's just to help us know the level of rating. So that is scale measure. And that's why this is called 4-point Likert scale. Scale. Questionnaires are scales. Okay. So we have for Q2, we're going to define that to Q2. We do the same thing. So I can just come here and say this automatically. I know this is going to happen. So what is Q2? I comfortably interact with my peers in school. So I just say, let me call that interaction with peers. I'm supposed to still define 4, 3, 2, 1, but there's a faster way to do that. I can just right click on this and say copy, since the scales are the same, and I paste here. And then I can right click on this and say copy, and I can just paste it there as scale. And I can do the same for Q3. Remove the decimal. I come here. Q3 says I am comfortable with the safety measures on campus. So I'll just say safety measures. Okay, so instead of writing 4, 3, 2, 1 again, I mean, it's the same scale, right? I can just copy that, Control C and Control V. That's all. And here to just scale, okay? So we have defined the variables, okay? We've defined them, we've coded them. Here is the data view. Can you now see all those things that were coded here? Gender, location, age, program, Q1, Q2, Q3. They now come up here as headings, similar to what you have in your Excel sheet that looks like this. Similar to what you have that looks like this. Age, location, gender. So let me just correct this so it synchronizes. Location, let's see, this is age, okay. Oh, great. So there's no program here. Let me just delete program. So I can come here and say, come here to delete. Okay, not there. Okay, it's not gonna delete there. So I can have to, if I want to delete anything, I have to come here to the variable view, click on program, and I say delete. Clear, rather. Yeah. So we have gender, location, age. Just like here, we have gender, location, age, M1, M2, M3. Okay, great. So let me still leave that as M1. I think this M1, M2, M3 here was motivation 1, motivation 2, and motivation 3. So it's same thing. Same thing. Let me just name it the same way. M1, M2, and M3. So if I were to pick this option myself, it then means that I'll come to the first observation now. I say gender. He's male, right? The first person was male, and I say 1. And I go to the next. Location was rural area, that is 2. And I say 2. And I come to age, less than 18, that is 1. And I say 1. And then you can see I'm just typing the numbers, but it's giving me the options. It's giving me the definition, like it's giving me the code names. And then I say, okay, we took our program. So let me just take our program here once, just to synchronize this. Then we have completely true. I mean, we have the first one, M1. The first was completely true, which is 4. So I just come here, I say 4. Okay, sorry, I just say 4. And I go to the next, see what happens. It comes here and it already tells me completely true. Can you see? And I come here, what's the next? M2 true, which is 3. I just click on 3 and I go next. And the third one completely not true, which is 1, and I just say 1. And I can go into the next question for the next person. So this is how to code manually in SPSS at once. If you want to see if your numbers are the same or accurate, let me just open this up broadly. If you want to see if this is accurate too, there is up here in the SPSS, this is where you do your cooking. You can decide which analysis to use, what to use exactly, what to do. So you can pick, I can change this and it changed to numeric. I can still do this and it changed to number. So irrespective of how I want to view it, this is it. I just click here. One, you can show me numeric, you can show me in you can show it to me in alphabet, like the value labels. So I just keep doing this. So if you have up to like 30, 100, you just keep imputing it. So the beautiful part of SPSS is the more you keep doing it, the more you get used to it. So let's say I want to bring in, I already have my data in Excel and I want to bring it in to SPSS. How do I do that? So let me say I have a fresh sheet. Let me just create a fresh sheet. So this is a fresh, oh yeah, great. Can you see this? This is the output file. This is where you have your output. But we'll get to that when we are doing some real analysis. So this is a fresh sheet. There's nothing in the variable view. There's nothing in the data view. And I want to import an Excel file. So this is my Excel file that I want to import. And I have to know the name of the file and where it's located in my system. So it's called demo SPSS, demo data SPSS, okay? And I close that file. So let's say I have it somewhere and I want to import it. I'll just say file and I say open data. It's going to bring up my windows. Great. So I know that I have that as AH Research Bootcamp 2, and I have it in presentations, and I have it in day 9, and I have it in SPSS presentation. Okay, so great. Type of data. This is not going to show me until, what was the type of data I'm looking for? I'm looking for an Excel data. Okay, I'm looking for an Excel data. So I'm going to say file or type of data. I'll change this from .sav to Excel. Can you see it shows me my SPSS data? But when this was not Excel, when this was still SPSS, it didn't show anything. So now that I change it to Excel, it shows me, oh, look at where I have my SPSS data. And I click on this. This is the data I'm looking for. And I say, open. So it's going to give me a command on what to do with the, oh, great, this is it. So there's a command. It asks me what should be used as the variable name. Recall that in our, let me just open the Excel again somewhere and just keep, let me open the Excel again. Demo data. Great. So just opening the Excel again. So recall that the first row was the variables, gender, location, age. Recall, can you see this? Now let's go to Excel. Let's see that command that came up. It asks us, do you want to read variable name from the first row? Yes, the variable names are the first row of my Excel data. And I'm interested in the t-test because inside this Excel data, inside this Excel sheet, I have t-test, I have correlation data, I have descriptive data, I have a lot of things in there. But I'm interested in this t-test data. So I just say, yeah, I want to work with the worksheet t-test data, but if I click here, I'm going to see other worksheets I'm interested in, but I'm interested in this worksheet. And I say, okay. So here's what's going to do. It's just going to transfer all what I have there on SPSS. Great. Can you see that? I already have it in SPSS. So, but what do I need to do? Since this have not been defined, remember I just have numbers here. I've not defined it in the variable view yet. Look at this. So we have it in the variable view, but it hasn't been defined. Look at the label is empty, the values are none. How do you know that it hasn't been defined? Look at this. If we click this, it doesn't change to, it doesn't give any any value. It doesn't tell us what is 1 and what is 2. Nothing. So what are we going to do? We have to define it. So if you're going to work, if you have to transfer your data from Excel to SPSS, you must define the values. So recall that I'm just going to have this again by the side. I'm just going to have that again by the side. So recall that gender, yeah, gender is gender, right? Gender is gender. And then the values for gender are what? 1 is for what? Male. And 2 is for female. And we say okay. So let's see what happens now. Can you see what has happened? Can you see what I only defined for the first value? So it has happened like this. So if I click here, it shows me the number. I can see this. But since I've not defined for these ones, it still shows me in numeric form. So normally you're supposed to define for all of it. So we have location. So I'll just quickly copy what I already did here just to save time. I'll just copy what I already have here already. Just copy all this just to save time. Ctrl C. I already have all those labeling. Oops, sorry. I just copy it and I can paste it here. Great. So what will happen now? Let's see. Fine. Can you see this? So I have it as numbers and I click it and I have it as text as well. All right, so that is how to code in SPSS, and that is how to enter data in SPSS. You can enter it manually, you can enter it as by transferring it from an Excel file, but you must code the data or define the data in the variable view section while you enter the data in your data view section. So let's explore the output section by running some analysis.